Casper is sponsoring this edition of MacVoices, and I want to tell you a few things about their mattresses and the experience of being a Casper customer. I can and usually do tell you about all the great characteristics of the Casper mattresses and the ease of getting your own, but this time I just want to hit the key points. 1. Casper's combination of latex foam and memory foam give you just the right sink, just the right bounce to give you the best night's sleep possible. 2. You get 100 days to try your Casper mattress in your home. No tricks, no gimmicks, just 100 days to find out how great Casper mattresses are. If you don't like it, they come and get it. 3. Your Casper mattress comes to you. In a few short days after you order, the Casper mattress arrives at your doorstep. 4. You don't have to invite 3 friends over to help you get your Casper mattress in the door, since it comes in a relatively compact form. Just cut the plastic open and your Casper mattress blooms like a flower, ready to sleep on in about 2 minutes. 5. Your Casper mattress is super affordable. $500 for a twin, $750 for a full, $850 for a queen, and $950 for a king. That's somewhere around half of what the mattress showrooms want you to pay. 6. You can get $50 off those prices by visiting casper.com/MacVoices and using the code MacVoices. That's your briefing on Casper mattresses, except to say that I have one and I love it. Casper.com/MacVoices and the offer code MacVoices to take $50 off whatever size Casper mattress suits you. What are you waiting for? Thanks to Casper for their support of MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, it's Take Control time again. It seems like the Take Control authors just keep churning out great stuff. This time, we have Mr. Michael Cohen back. He is the author of the brand new Take Control of PDFpen 8. I guess that's a sequel to Take Control of PDFpen 7, Michael?
Yes, well, in fact, it's part of, the PDFpen, I think, quadrilogy at this point. I think I started with PDFpen 5. So, yeah, we're now 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. 4 of them.
How many people can say they're an author of a quadrilogy?
Too many, actually.
Okay.
The upcoming book list is nothing but series now, but
Yeah, well, that's the truth. That's the truth. So, full disclosure here right up front, Smile is a sponsor of MacVoices, but that's not why Michael's here, and that's not why we cover it. We cover it for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is it's one of my absolute favorite utilities. As a matter of fact, I was just using it this afternoon to solve a few problems. So I look to Michael to make sure that I'm up to speed with all the new features and everything. And Michael, are you up to the task?
Oh, probably not, but let's go ahead anyway.
So what are some of the key new features of PDFpen 8 that you cover in the book?
All of them, actually.
Okay.
There's a list at the beginning of the book. In every update that we do like this and Take Control, there's always an initial topic called "What's new in this book?" or "What's new in this edition?" And so there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 or 10 bullet points that are major new features, in addition to minor things that have been tweaked and changed as well. Gosh, there's a lot that are really cool. Audio annotations. You can attach whole files as annotations or just part of the document. You can create portfolios, which is, if you're working on a project with somebody and it's not just one PDF, but there's a bunch of files that are all PDFs that are related, you can put them to one big chunk called a portfolio that a PDFpen can open now. And this is something that Acrobat's done for a while, but now you can do it with PDFpen too, and it's really convenient for multi-person big projects. Word export's gotten better. So has Excel export. You no longer have to connect online when you use those. There's extra page numbering options now. You can have templates for what the page headers or footers say now. They plug things in. There's digital signatures. That's a big topic, and we'll have to talk about that at some point. Not digital drawn signatures. We had that before. But in this version of PDFpen, it now uses digital certificates that ensure the document hasn't been modified. And that's a big, complex topic to go into. There's some form enhancements. When you create forms in PDFpen Pro, there's now a number of different designs for checkboxes and radio buttons and the like that you can choose from for consistency. And there's ways of setting the tab order now that you can now use the sidebar. So instead of having, to manipulate on the page where things may be spaced in very odd ways, you can now just list them in the sidebar, and we'll tab through in the order in which you have the fields listed there. So that's a useful feature too. So that's, there's a few. Oh, and a measurement tool for those of you who have to measure things.
Oh, I don't think I knew about the measurement tool. What's the measurement tool?
Well, it can work in a number of different ways. Oh, we'll start with that. It's just a tool that's up there on the toolbar along with the other tools. And what you do is when you click it, you can basically drag a ruler line across a document, and it shows you how far it is from A to B. So if you want to say, how big is this border? Or how far is this header from the top of the page? You can get those exact measurements. So you can do things like that, but if you have something like an architectural drawing, you can have PDFs of such documents, things that are created by CAD programs and the like, which have built-in scale, so where 1 inch equals 3 feet or something like that. And when you draw a measurement rule in one of those regions of a PDF that has an attached scale to it, it shows you the measurement in terms of the scale. So even though it's maybe like 1 inch on the page, it will say, 3 feet from this to that in this drawing, which can be very useful as well. So that's what the measurement tool is. So you can use it for layout, and you can use it for other things too.
Yeah, I did not know about that. We had the folks from Smile on when PDFpen 8 was first released, and they gave us a quick overview. But you know how it is. There are too many things. There are too many features to cover them all, and we can't do it here. They couldn't do it then. But
they've also been building it over the course of the months. I'll focus on this feature and that feature and whatever's at the top of their head.
Sure.
But I had to go through the whole product because I had to rewrite the book. And so it's basically the process when you do this on a Take Control book is you don't just add in the stuff that's new. You go through the book, every single thing, to see, does this still work the way it used to? Does that still work the way it used to? So you do something very much like a technical edit where you try everything out. And you usually end up taking new screenshots because even if nothing on the screen has changed, Apple's system software has changed and maybe there's different default fonts. You want it to look as up-to-date and current. So the product gets a really thorough look over in addition to just writing up the new features when we do these new additions.
Yeah.
So,
and it's such a useful program. I know though the fact that now you can do the OCR without it having to ship it off over the internet and bring it back real quick is really fascinating to me. Is that a function of just better coding, or have the computers gotten better or and faster?
Well, computers have gotten better and faster, and also, the size of the program's gotten probably larger on disk because it now folds in those libraries that were formerly being subscribed to. They've been able to purchase, the software frameworks that do that sort of thing. But, with today's computers, even the slowest new computer is just so darn fast. You can get away with things that before you would need a much larger, we were talking before the show began about a little project I did that involved OCR, as a matter of fact. Back in the late 80s, I worked at a place at UCLA where we bought an OCR machine. It was tens of thousands of dollars. It was like this floor-standing console, and people would have to make appointments to come in. The faculty would make appointments to come in, to scan their essays and stuff so they could get it in computer-readable form. And it took a while to do stuff. And now we've got this program like PDFpen that can do a page in under 3 seconds with accuracy that we couldn't have even begun to hope for back in the late 80s with a $20,000 machine. And this is a software you can buy with the money you may have in your wallet. It's just insane.
Yeah.
So
it makes me crazy because I keep running into people who they will send me something I need to fill out, and to their credit, they figure out how to scan it and send it to me. But then I see people that do it, and then they go and print it out, fill it out by hand, then scan it back to the person, and my mind explodes. It's like, would you please just pick up a copy of PDFpen and fill the darn thing out, and let's not do these gyrations all the time.
I know. Just because the tools are available doesn't mean that people necessarily figured out how to use them or thought much about it. They figured, well, I need this document, so I better print out a copy, and I'm going to fill it out. Oh, I need to send it back. I better scan in the document I printed out, you know.
Yeah.
They never think that they could go from end to end without ever using paper at all.
And it surprises me. At this point, PDFs are so well established. I mean, it's not like I think probably a good 80% of the population knows what PDFs are, and the other 80%, the other 80%, or excuse me, the other 20% are just, but
it's just another three-letter acronym.
Yeah.
But also, PDFs have changed over the years. It was originally designed to be what the name implies, a portable document format. It was designed to represent what a printed document would be on whatever machine you took it to. You know, back when it was done in the early 90s, and I actually remember meeting with Adobe at that time when I worked at the Voyager company, and that's a whole other story. But anyway, it was designed to replicate the printed page. Now PDFs need never have seen a printer. They can be created on the computer, shipped from computer, viewed on computer, never actually having been printed in any way, shape, or form. And you can attach documents and files to them and do all sorts of things to them where they're a much more powerful tool than just a replica of a printed page, although at core, that's still what it is. It's just like a Christmas tree with all these special ornaments hanging off of it.
Yeah, and to your point, too, the idea that it's gone beyond that. I mean, that was a great first step, and it still can be used exactly that way. You know,
Yes.
if it doesn't matter if I put voice annotations or OCR or whatever in something and I send it to you, you can still hit print, and the document will roll off your printer. Obviously, it's not going to play any of the audio comments, but at least not yet. That'll be PDFpen 10.
Paper.
Yeah, sooner or later. But yeah, the whole idea that, I love the idea of the audio comments. I love the idea of being able to embed files now within a PDF from PDFpen 8. Those things right there just make it worth the upgrade, in my opinion, because they're so useful and they make so much sense.
One thing I liked about this upgrade is that they added, as I read off the list, it's a scat of new features, really, a nice assortment. But at the same time, the interface did not change at all radically. It was a feature upgrade, not a whole workflow upgrade. So it looks like the PDFpen you've all known all this time. It's just got a couple of new buttons and some nice, whizzy new features. So
yeah,
that was good.
And there's a lot to be said. Unlike some programs we could both name, it maintains its usability. I mean, if you have a new feature, there's got to be a way to invoke it. So you may have to have a new button or whatever. But this constant redesign of things, and the one graphic
iTunes.
No, actually, I had somebody else in mind. A graphics company that is palette happy. That just drives me crazy, and that's one reason I think I love the Smile stuff so much. Is it's very utilitarian, and that is, to me, one of the hallmarks of great software.
It's certainly not a cluttered interface, but everything you need is there. And I do like that about it. I have basically made PDFpen Pro my default for opening PDFs on my Mac now. I use Preview a lot, and Preview is a fantastic program. But when I get a PDF, if I double-click it, PDFpen Pro opens because that usually has the tools that I'll want to use with it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a very rich feature set. I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with Preview. And for folks that don't have a lot of sophisticated needs, it's fine. But you just get so much more with PDFpen and PDFpen Pro.
Right.
So
if it's PDFs you're dealing with, of course.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But Preview can handle a lot of other things. It can handle a lot of image editing. And,
well, here's an inside baseball tip for you, that most of the images that you'll find on the page, the screenshots in Take Control of PDFpen 8, made a trip through Preview because I bring them into Preview to make sure they're the right size, to crop them if necessary, and then to export them so there's a uniformity of look that when we put it in the PDF that makes up the final book, it looks right. So, Preview is a part of my workflow.
Yeah. That's you're right. Inside baseball. Here we go. We'll come back in a minute, folks. I am a little bit surprised that you would be using Preview and not something more quote unquote powerful in the way of a graphics processor. But Preview has gotten that powerful.
Preview has gotten that powerful. Plus, it loads fast. It doesn't take up a lot of space. And for what I needed to do is simply bring an image in, check the size, the resolution, alter it if necessary, then send it back out. It's super fast. It's super simple. It doesn't get in the way. Much like PDFpen doesn't get in the way. It's the same sort of thing. It's not a cluttered program.
Yeah. All right, so let's come back to the main subject. I'm not sure if that was your fault or mine, but it was.
Oh well, you know.
You were talking about digital signatures, and I think this is a topic that's absolutely worth visiting and revisiting because it's something new and it's so powerful, and in today's world, it's so important with privacy and security that I want to make sure people understand it.
Well, digital signatures are a way of authenticating documents, but let's go back a step. In PDFpen, you can fill out interactive forms. One of the features on a form that you can fill out is something called a signature element, where you click on, you can actually write your name using a trackpad or a stylus or the mouse or whatever. So you actually get a physical image of your signature right in the form. PDFpen can handle that. PDFpen Pro lets you create forms that have signature fields. And so that was one way of signing a document. But that's just a graphic image. And it's so easy to fake a graphic image. If you've seen the internet lately, and I know you have. But what PDFpen 8 offers is a digital signing certificate. And this is a piece of software that's a public key, private key sort of encryption method that guarantees that it hasn't changed in transit from the person who sent it to the person who's received it. And that might not be important if you're like downloading a cookbook. But it's really important if you're like sending important legal documents that may involve hundreds of millions of dollars from one place to another. So you have to attach a digital signing certificate to the document that freezes it in place. And when the person who gets it opens it can authenticate and say, yes, this is an untampered document. The seal has not been broken. You used to only be able to do that with Adobe Acrobat. And it was a big, important feature. And there's a whole Adobe trusted list of signatures. You can purchase these signatures that you can attach to documents. Well, you can now do that with PDFpen 8 and PDFpen Pro as well. It trusts the Adobe trusted list software. You have to buy these certificates, and installing it isn't all that easy. There's a whole blog entry up on the Smile site that tells you the various dance moves you have to make in order to get this thing happening. But you only need to do it once, and then you've got a digital signature that you can use to apply to any document you send out. Well, that's a good thing, but you don't have to purchase that if your level of trust is not quite that high, but higher than just scrawling a graphic signature on it. That is, you can create what's called a self-signing certificate that you create on your machine. And when the person gets it, they get a notification that it's been signed. It's not necessarily trusted, but you can see who it came from, who it purports to come from, and like that. And if you've been in touch with the person who sent it, all you have to do about that certificate is say once on your Mac, yes, I trust this. And from that point on, you will be a trusted person, or that signature will be a trusted signature to that other person when they receive it. So self-signing certificates are a good way to enforce some sort of level of trust without going all out and spending $100 or more on an actual certificate from Adobe that gets registered on their list and like that. And you have to jump through hoops in order to install on your machine.
And as far as the installation goes, I mean, that's something that if you have that need, then
you'll do it.
Yeah, you're going to do it.
Because real huge money is at stake.
Yeah. Go back, though, to the self-signing. So I want to make sure I understand that. So on my machine, I create a self-signing signature.
Yes.
Okay.
That's actually one of the things you do in the signing dialog. You can say create, a digital signature.
Okay. So then I send you the document that I've self-signed.
Right.
And at that stage, you click it.
And it opens up and it has a little badge saying it's been signed, but the badge indicates that it's not an Adobe trusted. It's a yellow badge instead of a green badge.
Okay. So at that point, then
that person can open it and say, look at what the certificate says, who it says it's from, something about the encryption key and all that stuff. And they say, okay, I have made the decision. I will trust this key, this signature from now on. So they click a button that gets entered into their certificates list on their own computer. The next time you send that person a signed document, they'll open it up. They'll see the green badge because they know it's trusted, because they made that decision that they trust you. And the certificate still guarantees that pretty much nobody has tampered with it from the time you sent it till the time they received it.
But the self-signing signature in that document is not communicating back to my computer or me over the internet.
No.
Okay, right.
It's an encryption key sort of business. It's built on top of it. You probably have a lot of certificates on your Mac right now. If you look in Keychain, you'll see them. You get things when you use FaceTime. You often create a certificate so you can do encrypted FaceTime communication, for example. There's other certificates as well. I think you probably have one, for the iTunes Store, the App Store, and like that too. You've established that trust relationship. The certificate gets stored on your machine, and every time you do a transaction, your Mac checks that certificate against the certificate that gets sent when you do a transaction and says, okay, these are in sync, they're good, I trust this person. I trust this entity.
This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by Atlassian, the makers of Jira, Confluence, HipChat, and Bitbucket, helping teams everywhere team up to create what's next. Visit Atlassian.com to learn more. Today, I want to focus on Bitbucket from Atlassian, for the coders out there who are looking to be more efficient in writing and deploying their apps. Bitbucket is a tool you want to work with when you're working with your team. With collaboration features, unlimited private repositories, and Bitbucket Cloud, a secure workflow with branch permissions and granular permissions at 3 different project levels, Bitbucket has the features you need to get done what you need to get done. Best of all, Bitbucket is a tool that plays nice with other tools, especially Atlassian's Jira project management software, Confluence collaboration software, and the HipChat, TeamChat, and file sharing application, and lots of others. Visit Atlassian.com to find out more, download free demos, and see just how much more efficient your coding efforts can be for you and your team. That's Atlassian at Atlassian.com, helping teams everywhere team up to create what's next. And who doesn't want to see what's next? Thanks to Atlassian for their support of MacVoices. So if I get a self-signed document from someone and little yellow pop-up comes up, do I have to do anything with that? In other words, I don't have to accept that signature?
You don't have to say you trust it. You can still go through the document just fine.
Right.
But, the next time you open up, you'll still see the yellow certificate. Also, the thing to keep in mind is, from the sender's point of view, the moment, if I were to send you something, whether I use an Adobe Trusted List certificate or one of my own, the moment I sign my document, it's locked. I can't change it anymore without violating the certificate, because it runs an algorithm to make sure that the document matches a certain hash keyword. It's all encryption based, basically.
Okay, so what I think I heard you say is that if I do revision 1 of a document and then I sign it
again.
Okay, it's signed, and it's signed, and I send it to you, and you look at it and say, okay. But what happens if I do revision 2 of the document? In other words, I find a typo, and I fix that.
Thing, what you'll do is you'll open the document, and PDFpen will tell you, hey, dude, this document is signed. Would you like to work on a copy of it? In which case you say, yeah, then you fix a typo, then you sign that version to lock it in place for then. Because it truly is a security method. You want to make sure the document's not fluid from the time it got signed. Okay. So if you spot a typo, you change a copy and you sign that one.
Okay, but what happens then when you receive version 2? But you've
You'll
already...
open it up, you'll see another badge saying whether it's trust or not, depending on what you've decided to do. And you'll have that version. You'll have two documents now, version 1 and version 2 on your computer. They're separate documents. They're separate things.
Right. Okay. So it's not a version control system. It's just it confirms that I signed that version.
Verification system.
Got it. That's well said. Version verification system.
Yes. Okay. I attest and I vow that this document has not changed from the moment it left my hands till the time you received it.
Okay, let's just go farther down the rat hole. So if you take version 1 and you make a change to it and then send it back to me,
it's no longer signed.
But could you sign it at that point?
Yes, but then it would have your certificate, not that other person's certificate.
Okay.
The
Oh,
certificate
I got it.
The certificate says, I signed this. I have not changed it since the time I signed it. So when you receive a document, if you were able to open it up and edit it and then sign it yourself, you are now saying, I signed this document. It hasn't changed since the last time I touched it. The originator has nothing else to do with it at that point.
Yeah, and this may be more than a lot of folks need.
No,
but
no,
again,
which is why it took till PDFpen till people really got interested enough to finally do it. 5, 6, 7, and so on.
Yeah.
But identity is becoming more and more important. Digital identity verification is becoming more and more important with things like Apple Pay and everything else. You really want to be able to trust you are who you say you are, and stuff you've sent digitally has not been altered without your say-so.
Yeah. It is interesting that of all things, a PDF editor, is having these hoops built into it so that if you need that capability, you're going to have to jump through it. And I don't think that's any condemnation or condemnation, I guess, of the folks at Smile. This is just the way encryption works.
I'd say 99.9% of PDF documents in use at any time in the world don't need to be signed. They're just content. But if it's a legal document or a document that involves money or a document that involves trade secrets or the sorts of things that have real legal serious financial consequences, those are the ones you may want to sign to make sure that you've got a steady paper trail of that document and its state at any given time.
Yeah. Okay, one more time down the rat hole, and then we'll move on.
I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just telling you what, as I understand it, which is
but I think it's interesting from a practical standpoint. Right. So PDF. Are you saying that PDFpen 8 will not let me edit a signed document without creating a duplicate? That
is correct.
It locks it in place.
It's a locked document.
Even to me.
Even to you.
As a creator.
Yes, as the creator, the moment you sign it, you've said, I am done. This document is set in stone. I may mess with a copy of it at a future date, but at the moment of signing, this is how it was at the moment of signing.
Got it. That's interesting. I don't think I've really appreciated that fact that once I sign it, I'm done with that document. I can work on a duplicate, but then that document is essentially immutable.
That's true, but if you sign a letter of employment, that has all sorts of terms and conditions on it, and they send it to you and it's signed, they can't go back and alter and say, "Oh no, you really signed this one," if it was a signed, certified document that got sent to you. They can't, pull the bait and switch.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense when you think about it that way. But it also. For the folks out there that are thinking this is like a Word document, and you just save versions, correct versions, and send them over, and they can be the same name and all. It's very definitely useful and helpful to understand just how this is working, both on the sender side and on the receiver side.
What I find interesting is, and now we're going back to the beginnings of PDF again. At the beginning, it was the image of the page that existed in the real world. A digital representative of something that actually existed on paper. And as PDFs have become more and more useful, we've developed sets of tools that allow us to do a little bit of word processing with them, because it's not really a word processing format, but now we've got things like PDFpen that can let you edit the content of PDFs. So it's a bit more like a word processor. But at the same time, we're also having tools at the other end saying, we're also going to make sure that it can't be changed if you don't want it to be changed. So it still is the immutable copy of what you had, of what that was printed or virtually printed.
Yeah.
So we've seen a spectrum now of use of PDFs, both towards being protean and malleable and cast in stone.
And again, because I don't have a need for it or I haven't used this feature, I don't think that I fully appreciated just the logistics of working with a signed document. I mean, I know what a signed document is, but I never really thought about the fact that that it becomes immutable at that point.
Well, talking with the folk at Smile, it was a learning experience for them as well, as to all of the complications and ramifications involved in document signing, because it really is important. It has legal consequences. And once, the law gets involved, there's certain very rigid standards.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of the standards are still trying to catch up with the digital world, which is why we have some of this stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's, it's not boring.
Yeah. Interesting way to say it. If you would, talk a little bit about the portfolio feature. I think that's another great feature in PDFpen 8 that I think, again, it can be useful in so many ways.
Well, it pretty much is just, a packaging mechanism like a zip archive where you just put, more than one PDF in a file. So it's a file that holds PDFs and folders of PDFs. You can have a lot of different PDFs in it. So if you've got a whole PDF set, if you've got, let's say a user manual, a developer's manual, and maybe, a whole bunch of clip art to be used with a product, you can put it all in a PDF portfolio and ship it to somebody, and they'll have the 3 documents. And it can be opened up right in PDFpen or PDFpen Pro.
Now, how does something like that appear in the Finder?
As a file.
It's almost like a package file.
It's like a package file. It will say that it's a PDF, but if you try to open it with preview, it says you can't. You need a program that's capable of handling PDF portfolios. But if you open up with PDFpen, you get a window that shows you, much like the Finder would, a set of PDF documents that you can open up individually and the like.
Yeah.
It's a portfolio. It's a real convenience, especially for people working in graphic arts or development where there are a bunch of related PDF assets that they have to exchange one to another.
Well, and I can think of a number of examples, maybe in licensing, where you're trying to license something, so you need to send different licensing applications together for an entire company or whatever, and it would make wonderful sense to be able to do that instead of having to zip it. If you could put it all in that one portfolio and send it off as a PDF portfolio.
It truly it's not a huge thing, but it's a lovely convenience. It's not at all complicated to wrap your head around, and you can say, well, there's other ways to do the same thing, but it's a convenient way. If you're working with a lot of PDFs, it's probably the best way to handle that particular problem. As long as you're dealing with somebody else who can open up PDF portfolios, which
right. Well, and
there's Adobe sold a lot of copies of Acrobat out there, and it can handle it. So, you're just not limited to PDFpen users.
Right. Yeah, it's cross compatible because it's a standard.
It's a standard. It's a PDF standard. It's an extension of the PDF standard.
Okay. What are some other? We'll do maybe one or two other of the features. What is your favorite new feature in this version of PDFpen that we haven't talked about?
Well, there's a bunch of little things that didn't even make it to what's new in this product, but it's just something that you can do now you couldn't do before. There's a rotate page command, and if you've scanned in documents that some are like this way and some are like that way, you say, well, I'd like them all to be oriented the same way. And in previous versions of PDFpen, you could show the thumbnail view on the side. You could click that page and say, rotate it 90 degrees this way or that way. Well, in PDFpen 8, you can, if you see 3 or 4 of them, you can select all of them and say rotate, and they'll all rotate at the same time. Small feature addition, but a really, really nice one.
Yeah, but I got one guy that sends me that kind of stuff all the time, and it makes me crazy. So right there, I didn't know about that one either. I got to go and find that.
Yeah, it's a lovely little thing. It doesn't really bubble up to the top of, gee, this is wonderful, but it's one of those things you discover as you're working and go, nice, thank you, Smile.
Yeah.
Let's see, the Microsoft Word exports is a nice thing in that in previous versions of PDFpen, if you wanted to export a PDF into Word format, you had to have an internet connection, because what happened is they would take your PDF and send it to a special service online with suitable security precautions, of course. The translation to Word format would be done there, and then it would be shipped back to your machine. You wouldn't be seeing any of this. You'd just be seeing a little dialogue saying working, pretty much. And it would come back to your machine and you'd be done. But you had to have an internet connection to do it. So it depended upon, the speed and strength of your internet connection. Well, now, Word export, and for PDFpen Pro users, Excel export is now built in native to PDFpen 8 and PDFpen Pro 8. so that if you export to those formats, you don't need an internet connection. It happens right on your Mac, and it happens a lot faster as a result. And you don't need to worry about the fact that you've just sent a document over the internet and back.
Yeah. We're back to the whole security thing again.
Security is important.
Yeah. And it seems like there are more and more people out there trying to break it.
Oh, yeah. The page numbering feature is kind of nice. If you need to have documents, say, page 3 of 70, page 4 of 70, there's now a template feature if you want to do page number imprints, which you've been able to do all along. You've now got wildcards, so you can actually plug in a page number and an of page number and make your header read or footer that read the way you want it to read. You know, we could say, this document confidential, page 1 of 3, you know, that sort of thing. Again, a nice convenience for people who are, you know, generating PDFs and need to do stuff like that.
Yeah. I've been using it now for a while, and I've learned a lot here with this conversation, and now I have to go and look at the book and see what else I've missed, because some of those features, well, the rotation feature, for example, I mean, it's one of those things that I don't think I found because I was just so used to rotating one at a time. Okay, this is the way it is. So good job.
There's also the annotation features that are kind of nice. If you use PDFs to mark stuff up, you know, people send you a PDF and you want to make additions or corrections, they ask you for comments. Well, you know, you've been able to put little comment boxes on PDFs and mark things out and highlight them and make them look really ugly. Well, now you can also make them sound ugly by adding audio annotations, where, you know, if you're the sort of person who thinks and says rather than doesn't want to write it out, you can now record an audio annotation, get stuck to the page. And so when the person gets it, they can, if their PDF reader can handle audio annotations, they can click it and hear your thoughts rather than having to read your thoughts. So, you know, that might be good for somebody who's sending across, let's say musical scores, a PDF of a musical score, you know, and say, by the way, it should sound like this. And then you actually can play it and have it as an audio annotation. So that's just one way you might use such a thing.
I can see that been getting me in a lot of trouble. Yeah. I've annotated more.
You know, you can do that whole Hamlet thing, you know, say the speeches I taught you trippingly off the tongue, and you could actually, you know, do that whole scene by attaching it as a PDF note.
Yeah, well, sometimes sometimes it's very tempting to say this is stupid, and instead of, you know, it just comes out, and by the time you type that, it's like, no, I better be a little more politically correct.
Well, that's true, but you can also, you know, delete the audio annotation before you send it too. But you don't have your words actually staring at you. All you have is a little speaker icon, you know, so you might forget that you said something untoward,
or I said it 8 or 10 times in the same document.
Right. The other annotation tool are file attachments. Like if you have a document and there's like a Word document that really pertains to something in the PDF, you don't just have to write a note now saying, by the way, I have another document that may illuminate this. You can actually attach that document as an annotation to that spot in the PDF. So that when that person gets it, they open up the annotation and they actually open up Word or Pages or whatever you've stuck in there. Similarly, you can attach documents to a PDF without making them an annotation, just a separate document that's hanging off the PDF as a sort of Christmas tree ornament again. So that's nice. You have much more power over annotations that way. You can say what they are, you can attach files to really expand upon a thought, or you can just highlight things and draw squiggled lines and, you know, all the other stuff you could always do.
Yeah, and thank you, because that kind of brings it to where I wanted to get to. We're just talking about the new features here now, and PDFpen already had a great set of legacy features that's just gotten better over time. So there's so much stuff you can do with PDF, and now you've taught me a few things and made me think about things that I need to start doing with it. I'm a heavy user of it, but some of those. Sometimes you just got to get somebody else to tell you what to do. So.
Well, every time I go through one of the books that I write for Take Control, I go, I forgot this software could do that. Yeah. That's so awesome. Yeah. I should use that more often.
Yep, exactly. So tell us about the book. How many pages is this one, and what kind of pricing do we have?
Last I looked at the manuscript, as we're recording this, we're in the final stages of production, so it may vary slightly. It's going through a final editing pass and should be out by the time all of you out there in the video viewing audience see this. But right now, it's not quite done yet. Currently, I think the draft is 190-something pages, 192, 198. I forget what the number was. The same price as the previous edition, $15. Anybody who bought Take Control of PDFpen 7 after we announced that the update was coming out, and that was, I think, back in early April, if you bought Take Control of PDFpen 7 there, you get a free update to this version from Take Control at no cost.
And I want to be real clear about this too, or have you clarify. Again, we've just been focusing on the newest features of PDFpen 8 and PDFpen Pro 8, but the Take Control book
covers the whole enchilada. In fact, it covers 3 enchiladas: PDFpen, PDFpen Pro, and PDFpen for iPhone and iPad.
Oh, great!
That's also covered as well, and you learn how to use those in conjunction with.
Okay, so this is like 2 or 3 books in one.
Yeah, pretty much, which is why, it's 198 pages long.
Yeah.
Because, it's a portfolio.
Nicely done. Nicely done. So it's takecontrolbooks.com. Go and check it out. It is Take Control of PDFpen 8. And Mr. Michael Cohen is the author. And
as I recall, I think it will have a blue cover.
Ah, okay. Well,
I think this is my first blue cover book. I'm very excited because blue is a favorite color of mine, actually.
I can tell that, yes. Michael, it's great to see you. Thank you for the time and for the walkthrough and for the education.
You're quite welcome.
I hope everybody else got something out of this one. I sure did. So we'll do it again.
All right.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. No kidding, I really did learn some of this stuff. I learned some stuff I didn't know. So go and get the book and you'll learn some stuff you don't know. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the MacVoices blog, the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.